You gonna be in the video? Okay. Hello guys and dolls and welcome back. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my camera setup. I'm getting a lot of questions just in general about my camera and about my audio quality and things like that lately, so I thought it would be a good idea to just kind of cover the whole camera rig from the microphone to the camera to the lenses to the tripod. So this is going to be a quick rundown of everything that I use. I'm going to try to give you guys some useful information. So today I'll be covering everything from my microphone to my camera to my tripod and even the lenses I use on my camera. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. I will just start from the top down. So the first thing I want to tell you guys about is my new microphone. Right here is from the DVE store. They actually gave this to me, so this video is in fact sponsored by DVE store. So thanks guys for sponsoring this video. I will have a link in the description bar down below where you can go ahead and pick up the microphone. I have tried so many microphones, I cannot even begin to tell you, and this one is the one. This is the microphone. If this one ever dies, I will just immediately replace it with another one of these. I'm not going to try anything else because I tried like a lapel microphone, but I moved too much for that. I tried various different shotgun microphones like this. This is a Rode Mic Pro. This has the Rycote Lyre suspension system. I probably mispronouncing that, but what that means is that it's on this little like rig thing where if I shake the camera, it doesn't affect the audio, which is really helpful, especially if you're going to film outside or anything where you're going to be moving the camera. The microphone is a shotgun mic, and what that means is that it's shooting directly at me. It's going to pick up the audio from what's in front of it, and it's not going to pick up things from around it as much, which is really helpful if you're in a situation like I am where like my lights kind of make a slight buzzing noise and things like that, and it's going to cancel that out. The microphone also plugs directly into the camera, so it's very easy. It creates a video and audio file that are seamless. They are all part of one, so it makes editing really easy as opposed to an external thing where you've got to try to sync the audio. Ugh, nah. In fact, really quickly, I'm going to show you guys what the audio quality sounds like without the microphone, just to kind of give you guys an idea. So this is the camera's internal microphone. It sounds okay. It's not preferable. It's not what I would choose to use if I was given a choice. In a pinch, it'll work, but I think that audio quality is so important. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and plug in the microphone because no. Audio quality is so incredibly important to a video because a lot of people don't actively watch a video. So it doesn't matter how amazing your video quality is. A lot of people passively listen to videos, kind of like a podcast. So it's incredibly important that your audio quality be amazing. This microphone in particular, in comparison to other shotgun mics that I've used in the past, is definitely more of a pro quality. It has settings on the back and it takes a battery, which means that it actually requires more power to run it, because a lot of these other shotgun microphones, you just plug into the computer. You plug them into the camera itself and then it draws power from the camera because it's not drawing a lot of power because it's just not as good of quality. I'm just being honest here. So the camera takes these 9-volt batteries. This is a rechargeable one that I picked up on Amazon, so I always have a whole bunch of rechargeable ones on hand. I will charge this right before I film so I know it already has juice, because I've had a couple of instances where I didn't know if the battery was still live, if it still had juice, and I'd start filming and then halfway through the audio would cut out. You guys might remember that from Vlogmas. It was super fun. So keep these on hand, keep them nice and charged, and you will always have batteries. The other thing about this microphone that I want to mention is the settings. I looked at a whole bunch of videos, tested out different settings, and this is what works for me. So the top setting I have in the neutral position, so it's just barely on. There's another little like symbol thing. I don't know what it means. This is just a setting that works for me. And then the bottom one I have set at -20 decibels. And what that does, or is it positive 20? Is it positive? It's positive, so it's positive 20 decibels. Those are the settings that I use to get the best quality audio. Okay, so then we get to my camera. So I like the Canon series of cameras. For a long time I was using one of the Rebel series. I used the T2i and then I used the T4i. And when it came to upgrade, I decided to upgrade beyond the Rebel series and into something a little bit more pro quality, where it would have a little bit more control. The sensors would be faster, the autofocus would be faster, and things like that. So I upgraded to the 80D last summer and it has been love ever since. This has been one of the best things I've ever purchased in terms of video equipment. The quality you get out of this is insane. It shoots up to 59 frames per second. It has full HD and then sort of like a cropped HD, so you can make a smaller video file if that's what you need to do. But you can also make these great big huge files which are like pro quality. You can do slow-mo with it because it's such a fast frame rate. I could go on and on and on about this camera, and to be honest, I'm still very much an amateur. I don't know everything about everything, and if I had more like camera knowledge or camera experience, there's probably all kinds of really cool stuff I could do with it. Still totally usable for the layman who does not know all the things with the camera. I think it definitely helps that I had a background with the Canon series from the Rebel series of cameras. I still think that the Rebel series is still a good jumping off point. It's definitely a good starter. You can get these really inexpensive on Amazon used, and it's a really good starting point because the 80D is a little bit pricier. I want to say that it was maybe like $1,200 or $1,300 just for the camera body alone, which is an insane amount of money to spend, but considering that this is my job, it's a worthwhile investment, and you guys have absolutely noticed the difference in quality. I can't really think of too much else I want to speak about my camera specifically. The bottom line is this has a very fast autofocus. You can shoot at a very high frame rate or a lower frame rate depending on if you want to make a smaller file. That's one thing I do want to mention though, is that when you make those great big files, they take up a lot of room on your computer. So that's something I've definitely had to adjust to, like dumping all the video quality or video footage. And it's caused me to do things like I recently deleted on accident an entire makeup tutorial because I was trying to get rid of some other stuff, and then I deleted it and I couldn't get it back, and it was a whole drama. We're just gonna leave that. A big factor with quality in terms of the video is lighting, which is something I'm still working on. I talked about lighting previously in another video, so I'll have that linked in the description bar down below. I now sometimes film at my vanity, which has my vanity lights, which I'm not sure if they're my favorite for filming or not. I don't know. It's kind of like, I'm working on the lighting, so we're gonna skip that one for now. Now, in terms of lenses, this is something that is kind of a big topic, and we're going to condense it really small. There's a few different types of lenses that I think are really helpful, particularly for beauty blogging and fashion blogging and things of that nature. So this first one is the lens that I'm using right now. This is the 18-35mm lens. So this one has, it can be somewhat zoomed out. This is as far zoomed out as it gets. You can see a bit more of the sides of my room and things like that. So then I can zoom this in. And that's one of the biggest things, is that this one is not a set crop. So I can get right in there and you guys can see my makeup nice and up close and all that nice new junk. It's great because it's sort of a double duty camera. You have your nice zoomed in micro lens, and you can get those great macro shots if you can get it nice and really, you know, adjusted and very still. But you can also get the nice like wider angles. Now it's not a completely wide angle lens, and let me show you guys my wide angle lens. Okay guys, so here's my wide angle lens. Let me zoom this out all the way, okay? So now I've become a little tiny person in a great big cavernous room when my room is actually not that big, and you can actually see some like beams and stuff for a home improvement project. We're just gonna zoom that right back in. So this is as far zoomed in as this one gets. So you can see that this one zooms in only as far as the 18-35 lens gets. This lens is the 10-18mm. Honestly, I don't know what any of that means. I probably should learn, but I don't know. All I know is this is a wide angle lens, and all of my lenses are the STM lenses, which means that they work really well with the really super fast autofocus, which means that I can, for instance, let's put something really close, and it will seamlessly autofocus. There's no noise. It's very quick. It will focus right back on me, which has really enabled me to not worry so much about constantly having to refocus things, which was something that drove me crazy about the Rebel line. Even though the Rebel line is supposed to be compatible with the STM lenses, I did not find that to be true for my purposes. Okay guys, so this is the 24mm lens. This is a pancake lens, meaning it's very, very small. This is a cropped frame lens, so it's not going to give you, so you can see like we can no longer see like the dressers on either side of my room. It's very cropped in. What I like about this one is it's very sharp focus. It's great for doing things like tutorials where I just want the focus to be on a very small area and I don't need it to be zoomed out and in. It's a really great lens. I love this one. It's also really great when you want to take your camera around and you don't want to have like a big bulging honking lens on it that's a little intimidating for people. That way you can use your DSLR camera a little bit more like a point and shoot. Again, this has the STM, so it's very compatible with that very quick autofocus, just to kind of give you guys an idea. And then back to me. Pretty quick. Now this lens, because it's fixed, you cannot zoom it in or zoom it out. It is just fixed. This is the crop. This is what it is. Of course, you can physically get closer, which is helpful. When you're trying to film things like fashion or anything where you just want a little bit more in frame, this isn't really the best lens to use because it's so cropped down and almost like a little bit zoomed in, I feel like. Maybe I'm making that up. I don't know. Let me go ahead and switch back to the first lens, which is the 135 millimeter. Hi, I'm Cora. I don't even know how to talk about my lenses. Another thing that's worth mentioning is getting some type of remote. This makes it incredibly easy to take photos of yourself, so you don't have to like sit here with the, your hand on the trigger to try to take a photo. This is an actual Canon brand one, but Amazon sells their own brand of these remotes that are just completely, just can't be without it. This takes watch batteries, so it's also pretty easy to keep this one with juice in it, and the batteries last an extremely long time before you have to replace them, which is really quite nice. So with all of these lenses and the camera itself is not particularly lightweight, it's really important to have a good quality tripod. I cannot stress this enough. When I first started making videos, I would use the most shit show tripods that you've ever heard of in your whole life, and I have had them topple over. I have had some really bad horror stories with bad tripods. I really urge you guys to get a good quality tripod, because what's the point of investing in all this equipment if it's just going to come crashing down and then die? Just get a good tripod. In addition to finding one that's strong and can hold my camera and everything, I was looking for one that would be the appropriate height, because you don't want one that's too tall or too short or anything like that. My final criteria for the tripod was that it be a attractive looking, or as attractive as a tripod could get. And I found this brand called Me Photo that was making them in all kinds of different colors. They have greens and reds and blues, and they had a champagne color. And that really jumped out at me because my desk is a mirrored gold champagne color. My makeup mirror is also champagne color, so I'm like, okay, this is perfect. I'm so excited. So when it came, I actually discovered that it was rose gold and not champagne, which is even better if you ask me. So I absolutely love my tripod. I think it's so beautiful. Just a couple of final things about the tripod. I love that this has a ball head, and what that means is it's really easy to adjust and get things really specific. Like I can put the camera all the way to the side. Now this is super awkward for you guys to watch, I'm sure. Hi, sideways. But if I wanted to film like this, I could. I don't, but I could. However, having options like that makes it really easy to film product shots or do swatches and things like that. It's highly adjustable. This thing also swivels this way and that way, so you can kind of get the exact angle that you want from it. It's a great tripod. I highly recommend it, especially since you can get it in rose gold. There's actually a couple of different versions of this, so I will have it linked in the description bar down below which one I'm talking about, because there's another one where the centerpiece is not adjustable here, and it actually technically is slightly shorter, but then you can't, it's harder to adjust it up and down to get the right height, and then the legs of it get a little too splayed out, so if you have a very small space, this is definitely the version of this tripod that I would recommend. So that is it. It's a lot of information. I hope that I've covered the basics of questions that you guys might have about video and audio equipment and my tripod and things of that nature. If you guys have further questions, please leave them for me in the comment section down below, and let me know if you guys want to see more videos of this nature, perhaps one talking about my video editing equipment and things like that. I'm not including it with this video because this video is going to be long enough as it is. And that is it. Thank you guys so much. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This has hopefully been helpful for you, and I will see you in my next video. Remember to be vintage or tacky, just be your own kind of beautiful. See you, bye.